So what we want to make sure is that we don't go and utilize our credit during the time that we're looking to close on a home, because in the end of the day, that's going to be the thing that really puts a wrench in the system. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Mike Frank with Berkshire Hathaway, Frank Oliver and Company. Wanted to come and talk to you guys a little bit this week about some mistakes. First-time home buyer mistakes primarily, but all home buyer mistakes. A lot of things going on in the world. People are worried about everything. We want to take the first steps to do the right thing the first time so we don't have to come back and rehash it out. Bunch of things happening. We got a bunch of deals under contract in the last week. I think it was 4, maybe 5, just in the last week. In coronavirus, in everything going on, you've been hearing it for weeks, and people are still asking, is the world going upside down in real estate? Well, in the end of the day, we got a lot of people looking for houses. We got a lot of houses coming to the market, and people are focused on making their real estate dreams come true. So, congratulations to the people that got under contract in last week. We do have our home buyer event this weekend, virtual home buyer event. See our Facebook ads. We have a Zoom link. We're going to be doing a webinar. We have our lender, title company coming on. We're going to be talking a little bit about what it takes to buy a home, especially in coronavirus, and how that might be a little bit different than what we do on a normal basis. Also, we had a bunch of home inspections for the contracts that went out last week. Always fun to go through home inspections process. It's one of the things that people don't anticipate, and I think it's an adventure. It's fun to educate people on their new home and make them feel confident in their decision-making process. So very exciting on that front. And we're going to talk a little bit about just sort of the myths and the things that go wrong in the home buying process. So first thing, searching before getting pre-qualified. Logic, guys. Get pre-qualified before you buy a house. Why? Because in the end of the day, you might be looking for the wrong thing. You want to figure out who your lender is going to be, gain some trust and value in them, and figure out what's going to help you get to where you want to go. So by searching for houses before you get pre-qualified, you're setting the wrong expectation for yourself. You're creating an opportunity that maybe you're looking under your limit or under your comfortability, or maybe you're looking over your limit, which is going to set you up for failure for weeks to come. What you want to do is you want to find a lender that's going to get you pre-qualified, help you understand the costs and the monthly expenditures that are going to look into your mortgage payment, and figure out what's going to be comfortable. So ultimately, getting pre-qualified is going to help you figure out your comfortability and identifying a lender that you trust to give you good advice throughout the process, rather than identifying the perfect house, stressing, being frustrated, and going into a position where you're overspending your budget, right? By starting out by getting pre-qualified, you're going to avoid the stress and the frustration at a later date. Don't always trust online sources. So people oftentimes say, well, Mike, the Zestimate says this and the price is that. Higher, lower, left, right. Zestimate. In the end of the day, even my Zillow rep says a Zestimate is just our guess. We're looking down from the sky trying to figure out, based on the market analysis that we can do, what the house might be worth. It's not a Zprice, we're not buying it. It's not a Zappraisal, we're not giving you the money. We're just trying to create a value of the home to help people identify what their community is looking like, up, down, left, and right. So a Zestimate is just an independent third-party evaluation. You might as well ask your dog what they think, right? It's not helping you create the value of the home. And if the home is priced $25,000 higher than the Zestimate or $10,000 lower, it's not a great deal or a bad deal accordingly. It's just maybe that the real estate agent that's representing the seller has a better understanding of what's going on in the market than maybe it looks like from outer space. So the Zestimate is a great resource for you to understand kind of the community and how this home may compare to the next in the community. But ultimately, that home sale is going to affect the Zestimates for all the rest of the community. So it's important for you to have a good basis for you to understand where you're headed. But ultimately, it's not the basis of what your price is worth or what your house is worth, right? Zestimate should be a good thing for you to kind of analyze property by property, but ultimately you should have a real estate agent that you trust to help you get the value of the home. Going back to pre-approval, something people oftentimes do. I don't want to get my credit pulled. I don't want to get my credit pulled 3 times. I don't want to talk to different lenders. Well, I understand that and I totally respect it, but in the end of the day, you're going to have that process done in order to move forward. So maybe what we should do is get our credit pulled earlier so that we can understand what's on our credit and how it's affecting our score. A simple thing that people often overlook is the debt to income or the debt to credit ratio. So if I have an available credit line of $1,000, $100,000, $10,000, doesn't matter, and I have a usage of $500, $5,000, $50,000, my debt ratio is 50%. And that has a tremendous impact on my credit score. So if I waited until I was going for the pre-approval to get my credit score pulled to figure out that I'm at a 50% debt ratio, maybe my credit score would be a little bit lower and it would qualify for me for less of a house or less of an interest rate or a higher mortgage payment. Why would you do that? Go to your mortgage lender, find somebody that you trust, and figure out exactly what's going to do to help you get qualified for a home that you're comfortable in. And if they say, hey, by the way, let's work on this one little issue on your credit. You could fix it in a week. It'll take no money, no time at all. And it will boost your credit score by 20, 30, 40 points. Seems logical. Why would you wait until the last second to do that? So you want to talk with that mortgage lender to get pre-qualified before you start. That's a big mistake that a lot of people look for. Speaking of mortgage lender, people often ask what kind of first-time homebuyer programs are out there. What kind of homebuyer programs are out there for anybody? Well, find your mortgage lender. You'll see a repeating, right? Find a mortgage lender that you trust, that can give you good information, that can help you fish out these ideas. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday and she said, well, I make this much, I live in this area, I'm looking in that area. My mortgage lender says I don't qualify. And I'm like, that's not my job. But I had somebody else that made more than you, living in this area, looking in that area, that did qualify for the same exact program that you're telling me you do not qualify for. Maybe your mortgage lender isn't giving you the best advice after all. Ultimately, I'm going to recommend that you guys take the time to sit down with your mortgage lender to figure out who you trust. That word is so important. Figuring out who you trust, figuring out who's going to put you in the best place to succeed. They're going to be the person that qualifies you for the first-time homebuyer program, the down payment assistance program, the loan program that's going to be the best fit for your ultimate long-term goal. And that's what you guys want to do. You don't want to wait until you find the perfect house in order to sit down and figure that out because you're reactionary. Anytime you're reactionary, you're always going to be behind the eight ball. Let's take the bull by the horns and get pre-qualified with a mortgage lender that's going to sit down and talk about those first-time homebuyer programs. Speaking of which, a big mistake that people make, and they make it before it's too late, and then all of a sudden it is too late. They use all of the money that they have. They spend to their absolute top dollar. And what does that cause? It causes them a shortage of money when they actually want to move in. So whether it's paying for movers, paying for paint, or paying for pizza, they don't have any money because they used every penny that they had to buy this house. Now, in some instances, that's really smart because they're buying into equity and otherwise they would be renting epitominally. But in most instances, there's opportunity out there to leverage your money, even if you have to take a higher interest rate, that gets you into a position where you have more savings, more security, and more opportunity for your future, which is ultimately why you're doing this in the first place. Your big focus needs to be planning your budget. Lest we say, go to your lender, find somebody that you trust, and get pre-approved with somebody that's going to help you structure that deal where you're comfortable. Taking the loan that's the lowest interest rate with the lowest down payment with the lowest does not always equal success. Plan, action, success, right? Find a mortgage lender that's going to help you execute your plan to create the savings budget that you have to set the expectations for the house, to get the pre-approval, to go on and move forward in buying the home. Right? Now, this is a huge mistake, and this happens once in a blue moon with us because we're pretty good about it, but don't let it happen to you. Using your credit before the sale is final it can be detrimental. It can ruin the whole transaction. What we're talking about is somebody goes and puts an offer in on a home. They get pre-approved. They make mortgage application. They submit for underwriting. They go for final approval. Everything is great. They get verification of their employment. They get verification of their income. They pull their 401k. Everything is done. The week before settlement, we're going to go look for furniture with mom and dad. We're going to look for furniture with boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever that looks like for you. And in the end of the day, the furniture salesman says something great like, don't worry, we'll have this delivered after you settle on the home. And you sign on the dotted line. Sounds great. And what they've done is they've pulled your credit. They might have even added a line of credit to your debt line. And your mortgage lender, the day before settlement, goes and pulls a new credit report. And all of a sudden, there's a new loan on your debt line, even though you don't owe anything for a year, even though you don't get it for a week. But all of a sudden, that new loan on your debt line is going to impact that credit to income ratio, and it's going to impact everything. And it can even tip the scales between you buying a house and you not buying a house. The affordability can change just like that. So what we want to make sure is that we don't go and utilize our credit during the time that we're looking to close on a home, because in the end of the day, that's going to be the thing that really puts a wrench in the system. You'll notice that almost all of these big buyer mistakes, none of them have to do with buying the wrong house. None of them have to do with buying in a neighborhood that they're comfortable in. None of them have to do with buying across town from their ex-girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever that looks like for them. Almost every big major mistake that happens in the loan process is in the loan. It's not in the house. So if you want to avoid the number one mistake that you can make in real estate, avoid making mistakes with your credit. Avoid making mistakes with your lender. Find a lender that you trust. It's so important, because 9 times out of 10, it doesn't matter what lender you choose. They can be from Maryland. They can be from San Diego. They can be an online lender. They could be a family friend. They could be a best friend that just got their license. Does not matter. But that 1 out of 10 times, that you just went with the 1-800 company that offered you the best interest rate, that company is going to be the one that the 1 out of 10 time costs you the transaction. And of course, you're going to be able to buy another house. But you've invested time and money and energy, and this was the house that you poured your soul into. And all of a sudden, it's gone because we made a simple little mistake by trusting somebody that gave us the lowest interest rate, the lowest number. Oh. Boop. Sorry about that. Tim, I'll call you right back. At any rate, you want to find somebody that you trust. It's so important. Right? So don't make your mortgaging mistakes. If you come to us, I wish I had a copy here, but they're at the office. We have the 10 commandments of real estate, and 8 of them are lending. Don't make lending mistakes in the process of buying your first home. All right. So as always, what's going on around town? Very, very, very exciting. Stage 1 is now in effect. Super exciting. So in Baltimore, we still have some regulations and restrictions. Stage 1 will be in full effect June 1st, so that's about a week and a half away. Very excited for that, excited to get back out, and I really do want to see these businesses get back on their feet and get started moving, and honestly, just get out and into the community, because I am pale. So I'm excited to get out there, get out with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for weekly content. Also, check out our social media pages. The links are in the description below. See you next week.